Well, the first thing they need to understand, and that's the first thing I say, is that waste prevention is not about waste. Waste prevention is a much broader topic. It's a societal topic. And it starts, if we're talking about materials, it starts with the design, with the idea what a product or service will be, which resources will be used for it, how far we will transport it, how we will consume it, how long, and then what we will do at the end when it's finished serving its purpose for us. And then it becomes waste and has a chance to become waste. So waste prevention starts much earlier, much before waste management as such. That is a very important thing to understand for my students. And at that, I also emphasize that it has to do with the way how we look at economy. It's a very inconvenient question, but it has to be asked if you really want to be very serious about waste prevention. Joy is something that is created out of energy, of human interaction, rather than material possession and consumption. So we prevent a lot of waste by just being with friends and enjoying being together. And those two things should not be mixed, I think, in our thinking, and then also not in our behavior. A research done on the experience of happiness has shown that the highest ranking activities are those that involve human interaction without actual consumption of material goods. And I think that is where the focus need to be. That's what I said at the beginning. Waste prevention is not about waste. Waste prevention is how we look at life and what we derive our happiness from.
I mean, waste prevention is a key part of any strategy for dealing with waste. You need to collect the waste, you need to recycle, you need to dispose. But waste prevention is also part of the mix. And there is a lot of evidence and experience on what works. In Europe, we have proceeded stepwise. We started by phasing out open dumping, we ramped up standards, we then looked at recycling, and we're now coming to think about prevention. While we were doing those first three steps, we weren't looking over our shoulders, and the waste generation per capita doubled. So we now have twice as much waste to worry about as we had then. In developing countries, looking forward, the situation is often even starker than that. If you look at many countries across the developing world, you have three factors impacting on waste growth. You have continued population growth, you have continued migration from rural areas to the cities, as well as as economies develop, the quantity of waste per capita will increase. So for many capital cities across Africa, whatever, we know that the waste generation will double in the next 15 to 20 years. And like the situation you have said, if you build landfill now to cope with the waste you have, it will take you 10, 15, 20 years to get it up and running. And by that stage, you have doubled the amount of waste. So you started off with, taking a figure from the top of my head, 1 million tons of waste going to open dumping. You develop capacity to deal with that 1 million tons, and by the time you get it in place, you have another 1 million tons going to open dumping. So what progress have you made? None at all. So it is necessary to look at waste minimization in parallel to developing your other technological systems. How you do it, that's difficult. But the lesson from Europe is you can't ignore it. You do have to do something.